3 words! What a journey. And I don't want to go on and sound forlorn, but last week I did say that I would be reborn. And before I seriously drop a beat like Snoop Dogg, let's see where it all started. I was just a guy with an idea, no fear, and a mere sense of courage. But there has been hard times. But I am learning, and I am earning, and now it's fucking turning, and I'm here, feet off the floor, green bar to bar, green week, green month, standing tall, I'm as high as the Burj Khalifa. And now, if I can only fall in love and marry and meet me, my life will be complete. So, how much did I earn? And what did I learn? Well, for that, let's cut it. Welcome to Stephen Johnson Stocks. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, the real question is, how did I flip going from a losing trader to a winning trader? How did I flip it on its head? And the answer is, I stopped being stubborn with the patterns that weren't working, like the ascending triangles, getting in when everyone else is getting in. And I watched a ton of silver videos, Tim Sykes silver videos, and I watched a ton of Tim Grittani webinars. I moved to IB. I started shorting based on things that I'd learned from Tim Grittani webinars and the Trading Tickers DVD. I started longing based on the stuff I picked up from Premium Silver. And I started doing what Dux is doing and only taking the best trades. And you'll see more in the Excel, you'll see more in the trades. But, I mean, I said last week that I'd be reborn because I really felt like I was going to move to the next level. And I figured I'd picked up my mistakes. And the main advice I can give is, if something is not working for you, if you're losing consistently, change the fucking strategy because it's not working in the current market. And look for another strategy. And the only way to do that is to go through all the video lessons and see what appeals to your personality. Now, a couple of things. My dad has a new book out. It's a children's book for ages like 8 to 12. There's a link in the description. Cool if you can click it. Cool if you can buy it. That's awesome. A lot of people have been asking for my Excel. Like, I've got a crazy Excel. I'll show you in the next slide. I'm more than happy to give it, but all I ask in return is that you donate to the channel to keep it going, because then if you give it to me, I make more videos, I help more people, and more people grow and learn with me as well. So like $10, that's all I'm asking. Make a donation, ask for the Excel, I'll send it straight over by email. And lastly, again, it's 100% green week, 4 out of 4 trades. I just want to thank Tim Sykes. I mean, he said to me like, Stephen, I promise you if you put in the effort in the challenge, you will get there. And a lot of times I doubted him for sure because I didn't know. I was like, is it for real? Is it not? And now the dream is coming true, the reality is kicking in, everything's going well, and it's true. The guy creates millionaires, and I just want to thank him and the Stocks to Trade guys as well, Tim Bourne and Stocks to Trade Plus has really, really, really helped me. So just thanks. Thanks a lot. And now let's quickly go on to the tweets and then the trades. Okay, let's have a look at some of these comments. Verdi, you are a nutter. Honestly, I am a bit crazy, but crazy in a good way. Some people are introverted crazy, and like they are people that you've got to worry about. Like I'm crazy in a fun, like to have a good time, make the most of every moment. And to be honest, I think to achieve success and become a millionaire and stuff like this, you need to be a bit crazy. You need to be different from everyone else. Same in advertising. I work with a lot of creative people. They're all fucking crazy, but in a good, fun, let's have a good time way. Gustavo, the more I watch your videos, the more I relate to you as a trader aspirant. Never give up, dude. Yeah, forever. And now it's coming good and coming green. Deep, thanks as always, man. I was wondering how you sit through the video lessons. It's hard for me to focus. Deep, I swear, I watch a video lesson and forget everything that was said in it. I write down the key tickers and the key takeaways, and I just try and take away 1 key point, 2 key points from every video. And I don't watch more than 5 in a row. Like I'll watch 4, and then I'll go put the washing out, then I'll watch another 4, then I'll go for a run, then I'll watch another 4, and I try and break it down. I don't watch more than 10 in a day or I just die. But okay, let's get on to the trades. Very exciting stuff, real change. So 4 trades made this week, kind of inspired by Dux, only taking the setups that I'm inspired on. And in terms of profits, I've moved to interactive broadcast commissions are a lot lower, so I'm really taking advantage of that. And whilst I'm pretty much certain that the setups I'm taking are like 90% going to work, I'm still trading really small, so I can have that proof in the bag, that confidence. So I'm only taking $200-300 positions short and say $600 positions long on the stocks that I'm 90% are going to work on. And I mean, there's lots of reasons for this. One, confidence. Two, I'm terrified of getting trapped in a short squeeze because I've never shorted before. So the fact that I'm 3 out of 3 is magnificent. But also because I just want to get consistency. And once I have a green month, $300 position short, 600 long, then I can switch it up and go $600 short, 1200 long, and then keep on building it like that. And I was always on the verge of a green month. I was like 10, 1, 10, 8, 7, 3, 9, 4, and then now I'm green. So it was always coming, and maybe I'll go green, red, green, red a bit. But I mean, that's fine as long as there's consistent progress, as long as I see constant improvement, as long as I see this winning percentage end up somewhere in the 50s, 60s. Yeah, just somewhere in the 50s, just to show continuous growth. That's all I'm shooting for, and I'm still filling out these first green day stats to see what kind of setups are profitable and when I should be taking profits. Now that I'm going short and having a lot of success short, tracking stuff like the first gap down day. The first gap down day is when a stock's had 3 days up and then it gaps down, and just really tracking it over a few days. And then the difference between a first gap down day and a gap and crap is this stock, I'm seeing the difference of the gap down. So it gapped down 5% from the previous day, whether this one, gap and crap, are more stocks with really bad long-term charts or histories of not holding their spikes that gap up big on meaningless news. And I'm more interested to have how big the gap up and how big the gap up pre-market. This ADHD was 11%, but pre-market it was up 22%. And this should be green. And that's it. So let's get into the trades. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so this is Dynavax Technologies, and this is my first ever short play, which is interesting. And it says Dynavax Technologies is up on robust volume on the announcement of positive data on SD101 something melanoma patients. Now, I don't know at all what that means. I think melanoma is something, it's like some sort of skin disease. But what I do know is there's no contract, there's no financials, there's nothing solid. There's just some random news about positive data results. I mean, my brother's a scientist and he has positive data results all the time, and he hasn't made any big discovery. So it feels pretty meaningless. And the other thing I was looking at is, when is it gapped up in the past and what did it do? And when I go back through its history, kind of on big volume days, it gapped up here. And it did spike a little bit and then it washed out. And then, what else can we see? Anything here? It had some volume. Didn't really do anything. Here it had big volume recently. Oh, and it was just a big sell-off. So I don't really... It does put the odd multiple spikes in. But there's no evidence of it just gapping up and failing at the same time though. Here it had big volume, gapped up and spiked a little bit. So, I mean, it's not like there's hard proof that it gaps up and fails, that I can see. So I was a little bit more wary on this one, especially being the first short. So I kind of waited for some evidence that it was going to fail. Because generally when a stock's up 30%, on this kind of news, it does fail. But because past history doesn't show it, I was a bit more careful. So if we go into the breakdown, we see the big ramp up on the news. Generally, when stocks are uptrending like this, if it held it, we normally see a spike, but it started cracking before pre-market. So it's almost like shorts started taking control straight away. And then when we saw this, I waited basically out of caution for this break of pre-market support. And after that, it was just a constant downtrend. And I was aware of this, obviously. So when I saw it kind of crack this line, I thought, right, it's cracked the support. I'm going to get in because it looks like it's got room to go down further. And I was in the 710s. So it kind of cracked, bounced, cracked, and it looked like a weak bounce here around the 710. So I was actually in around here, thinking it was going to crack even more. And we got a little bounce. I got squeezed a little bit to the 20s, but then it dropped back down to the 5s and then down to the 90s, and then actually had to go and meet a friend for an iftar because it's Ramadan, so I covered here, and I could have been covering down in the 670s, not a lot of upside. But ideally, if I played this again, I would have been shorting around here in like the 740s. I might have got squeezed up to the 50s, but then ultimately 740s down to the 680s is like nearly $1 a share of downside. Yeah, NAKD was a first screen day pattern, and if we just kind of scroll back, I mean, it is a downtrending chart, but it's nothing terrible. Like, it hasn't really kind of been downtrending since like June 2016. I mean, from here, it's kind of like from April 2016, it's kind of held this level. So I wouldn't call this a downtrending chart, which is important when you play these first screen days, because sometimes if it is a downtrending chart on a first screen day, it just doesn't have the momentum to bounce. But we had this big retracement from the 3s to the 150s, so like it's a I don't know how to do the maths properly for percentages, but it's like 100% it's retraced, or it's 50% because it's cut in half, whatever. But it doesn't really matter. If it has a massive retracement, I would say 50% of its value, and it has this bounce, and it's overall not a massively downtrending chart. We have quite significant volume. It closes not at its highs, but kind of near its highs. And this is the type of stock that I like to buy in at the close of the first screen day, ideally earlier. So I was buying in here in the 70s as it was holding support on the first screen day. It wasn't like it was panicking out, it was holding. So it looks like it's holding to make another spike tomorrow. And it's sad because I didn't expect this to sell off at the close. Otherwise I would have been ready with another order to buy even more. Because the average was 171-ish. I would have loved to have bought more here and got me average down to 168. And then we saw it kind of gapped up a little bit. There was a scary moment where, I mean, its green level is 167. And it actually opened at 165. There was no immediate bid as people were waiting to see what was going to happen. It opened at 165, so just a tiny bit down, but there was immediately supported bidder back up. And that was it. The rest was history. I mean, it was a really clean, big spike up, and I always go for about 6% on these, and I was in at 171, and I took the 6%, took about 4% really, and selling in the 178s, and I sold in the 178s specifically because it topped out previously in the 179s, so I thought, alright, I'll get out a bit earlier. Had no idea it would go to the 185s, it's pretty crazy. But I was worried that it was going to top out. I just wanted to take the profits, take me 5-6% and move on. It was up from the 60s to the 80s at the time. I mean, it's just not sustainable. And that's it. Okay, so this was my second ever short. So I'm going really small size, like 200-300 bucks. And once I get more consistent, I'll start scaling up like maybe 600 bucks, then 900 bucks, then 50, and then 2,000 again. But because it's my second short ever, 2 green shorts in a row, I'm really pleased with, but I'm just testing these patterns. And props to Tim Bourne. He pointed this out as a potential afternoon short. I was a bit more interested in it earlier because I knew that it had gone from the 4s to basically the 8s nearly. Touch the 8s. And I know that Tim Grattani plays a pattern where he's kind of shorts into resistance on the first red day on an overextended chart. So I was looking to short in the 760s, maybe even the 790s whenever it looked weak. And what ended up happening was, if we just scroll in here, run a 5-minute here so you don't see it so clearly. Let me put you guys on a 2-minute chart, which is what I was watching it on. And it will take a second to load. What we can see is it was opening down. So it closed in the 770s, it was opening in the 750s. So I was hoping for a push into the 770s to short into, or if it looked strong in the 770s, I was going to try and short it in the 790s. But it didn't, it washed immediately out. So I was looking to short the bounce, and it came back up to the 740s. It was looking weak, so I shorted into the 740s here. Got as high as the 750s before it topped out. And then I was basically thinking, as it made a lower high trend, I was thinking where to get out to protect myself. And to do that, I was thinking, well, where is the nearest support level where I should get out at? And for me, I could see, I mean, I can draw it for you guys. I can see some support kind of here in the 7s, 710s, 712s around here, where it kind of topped, closed strong here, and I thought, well, I'll put my order in the 714s because support looks like it's around the 79s. I'll be a bit above everyone else. And as it turned out, it just crashed, and I mean the next serious layer of support is around here in the 650s. So I mean it looks like it's going to crash all the way down to the 50s now, which is outrageous, much more than I expected, but glad to be on the right track. Okay, that is a wrap, and I just want to say maybe next week's targets are. It just sounds a bit eerie. It doesn't sound as fun. Let's hit the beat again. Next week's targets are Green Week. Make another 40-50 bucks. Duck. No, just seeing how it's that rhyme. Make another 40-50 bucks. Have another Green Week. Work towards that first green month. And stay steady on the short side, focus on only the best setups, and that's it, just another green week. Make fucking history on this channel. First ever YouTuber in the fucking world to document his entire journey, so I'm proud of that and it's coming good. But I just want to say to you guys, be with me on this journey, stay with me, because there's winners and losers in this world, there's doers and don'ters. Be a doer, be a winner. Comment the word winner, because I am a fucking winner. You should be a winner too. Live the dream. I'll see you later.